Hello, it is Nick. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss what I want to call the aftermath of the first presidential debate of 2020. Now I am filming this on Friday night, and so you're probably wondering why I'm filming this 3 days later, and you're probably like, you're late to the game. But actually, I think it actually happened for a reason, because a lot has happened in the aftermath of the debate, especially today, Friday, as I'm filming this. So hopefully I get this out either tonight or Saturday morning, and hopefully not too much has changed since then, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to get through what I think is important. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of my reactions during the debate. We're going to also get into the aftermath as far as the ratings, because that's important to things and how many people are engaged and what that means. We're also going to talk about some theories that came out of the debate the next day as people were kind of seeing what people were reacting to and learning of different weird things that were happening. We're going to get into that a little bit, maybe debunk a little bit of things. I'll tell you a little bit about the ones I think are actually the most plausible, and then at the end we will talk about the biggest story that came out of the debate, which was really the whole Proud Boys situation. And then as of today, we know that President Trump and First Lady Melania have tested positive for the coronavirus, and kind of what that means for the future of debates. So if you're interested in hearing my take on all this from a perspective of someone living in California who is conservative-ish, who's a registered Republican, keep watching. Now, briefly, I do want to just talk about why it took me so many days to upload. I've been uploading daily for a while now. And so what I wanted to say was my last video actually came out a day and a half after the one before that, and that was because it was a longer video of mine and it took me longer to upload, and I actually had to push it a day later. So it was supposed to come out on Sunday and it came out on Monday. And then on Tuesday I was getting ready to film this video for after the debate for it to be ready, and I'll actually have something else ready for Tuesday as well. Or was it Monday or Tuesday? I don't remember. Whatever day it was that my last video came out. And then on Tuesday night, right after the debate, I got that weird feeling where you feel like you get nauseated. And whatever I had for my debate meal, I won't say what exactly I had or where I got it from, but apparently it didn't agree with me, and I think it was a little bit of a food poisoning situation, or maybe I just had too much of something or too many indulgences. I don't know, but that night was not fun. And I basically, Wednesday and Thursday, I still was kind of dehydrated, kind of out of it, kind of feel like my body was getting back to normal. And today I felt finally normal again. So I thank you for your patience, and for those of you who have reached out saying or asking about where I've been or why don't you have a debate reaction up, that's why. But I think at the end of the day, like I said before, it worked out for the better, because now I get to talk about a whole bunch of things in one and give a little bit more of a contextualized reaction to the debate. So without further ado, let's get into that by starting with some of my thoughts during the debate. And I'm going to use my parlays that I sent out on Parler and as kind of like my guide to what I was thinking, because I felt like the things I really wanted to highlight during the debate, my thoughts were things that were worthy of me to kind of put out on Parler, which is kind of like a tweet if you're not on Parler. So if you want to follow me, you can. I'll have the screenshots right next to me on the screen, whatever side of me it's going to be on, because I'm trying something new as far as my visuals on my videos. So anyways, my first thought that I had during the debate was, I said, quote, "I see the plan. Anytime Biden is being decimated by Trump, Wallace interrupts." And this seemed to be a pretty frequent thing that everyone was kind of reacting to after the fact, and it appears I was pretty spot on with this. And then my next one was a quote from President Trump when he said, "I've done more in 47 months than you've done in 47 years, Joe." And I will say that the time between these two parlays, it was pretty long, because after the first segment, it kind of got a little messy with President Trump interrupting Joe Biden a little too much, in my opinion. I think that's been a common consensus with a lot of people, which I'll talk about at the end of sharing my comments. But actually, you know what? I'll share it right now. Basically, the big takeaway from the debate was people thought President Trump was talking over Joe Biden too much and not letting Joe Biden fail on his own. And those are coming from Trump supporters. So that to me supports the idea, which I talked about in my video where I talked about President Trump being booed at his own rally. That kind of supports the idea that it's not really a cult mentality as far as Trump goes. It's people who want to see him do well. We're criticizing him for his debate performance. And so I think that's something important to take away. And it appears that Biden supporters or people who are pushing for Biden because maybe they don't like President Trump as much, they seem to be a little scared or concerned that Trump may have actually won the debate. So they were trying to kind of spin things however they could. So I thought that was an interesting thing. My next little comment was President Trump's whispers into the microphone as Biden and Wallace talk is the best part of this, with the crying emoji. I thought it was because that's what he does best. He gives these little digs under him, under like his breath that kind of wins people back. So I think one point, Joe Biden was talking about how number 1 this happened, number 2 this happened, number 3 this happened, but he only said something for number 1 and then he skipped to 3, and then President Trump interrupted him and kind of reminded him while he was listening to Wallace and Biden. He's like, "Oh, you were on number 2, by the way," and then he kept talking. So he was like, President Trump is not dumb. He's able to kind of like analyze the room and win people back over. So I thought that was very interesting and funny. And there was another one that I can't remember he'd said, but it was just a quick little thing under his breath that kind of just made me laugh and kind of wins you back over with him as far as kind of smart alecky and smart ass-y, if you will. And then a few more I had here was I said FYI, equity and equality are not compatible, which is, I sent this out when Joe Biden was talking about how we need to have a more equitable, more equal, more whatever, inclusive, diverse future. And fortunately, Joe and a lot of people who are pushing this narrative, equity and equality to me are not compatible, and here's why. Equity means that you give certain groups more than others because you feel they are at a disadvantage, whereas equality means everyone gets the same at the beginning, not guaranteeing the same outcome. So to me, those two things don't really make sense being in the same sentence, and I don't think you can have one or the other. Maybe you want a mix of them, I don't know. But I just think that's kind of them throwing everything at the wall and hoping it all sticks. And then my last live parlay during the debate was President Trump goes nuclear in the final moments, and I thought that was his best part, which is unfortunate because I have a feeling a lot of people turned off the debate after only a few segments. But towards the end, President Trump he got right to the point as they were wrapping up, and he just said, "This is what happened. The Obama administration spied on me. That was you, Joe. The corruption with you and your son related to China. The people attacking me since I've been in office and haven't accepted the results of the last election." And he just got to the point and just hit him one after the other, and Biden had no choice but to listen to him. So I thought that was a really good part, and unfortunately it was at the end. And it was clear, though, that Joe was kind of deteriorating towards the end, and I think if it would have gone on any longer, Joe would have just completely lost it. And that's when I think Trump should have let Joe keep talking, because he kind of talks himself into some trouble. And then as far as the after this was all over, I basically just said the unfortunate results of the debate is that undecided voters will choose neither candidate and non-voters will choose not to vote. And that to me is really what happened as far as the debate's effectiveness on voters, which I'm pretty sure is what it's supposed to be about, but apparently not anymore, was that pretty much it didn't really move the needle at all. And the way they were acting as far as Trump interrupting Biden and Biden kind of getting a little mean at some points where he told President Trump, "Shut up, man." And the way he says it, it's very guttural, and it's not in a bantery, lighthearted but subtle dig kind of way that President Trump is really good at. That's kind of funny. So I can see how that didn't really go over well with the way he said it. So those were kind of my thoughts during the debate, and I thought those were kind of things that I thought were worthy of touching on. And Now let's get into kind of the thing that's important to Trump, but I think it is important overall to the amount of people involved and engaged in this, considering we didn't have really a meter on the ratings after pandemic with President Trump and Joe Biden as far as presidential debates go, comparing to like 2016. So the first reports as far as the ratings go were that they plummeted 30% to 50 million or whatnot, and compared to 2016, the first debate. And then as more numbers came in, it appears it was only about a 13% drop off on network television, meaning the big five, ABC, NBC, or big four, CBS, Fox, and then they also counted MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News, and that was about 13% off. But that's only people watching on cable or network television. So my guess is that tons more people have been watched this than any other debate in history. And to me, it more shows that, one, people are more mad at certain news publications as far as like they don't like NBC or they don't like CBS or they don't like Fox or they don't like NBC or ABC. And I think that kind of showed as well as far as like Sunday Night Football recently. The Fox ratings were up year over year, but the NBC ratings were down. So maybe it shows that more people are inclined to tune into certain networks now. So I think that could be a factor in this. Also, the old means to me, and people are actually, before I say this, people are changing the way they consume media nowadays. I think this is pretty clear at this point that tons of people were watching on YouTube, but they were live streams of the network television programs, or people were watching a live stream of an independent news organization like a, what am I trying to think? Like a C-SPAN, but that's not alternative news. But you know what I mean? Like a Daily Beast or like a townhall.com or Right Side Broadcasting or you name it, whatever publication you want to think of, Breitbart, whatever, on their YouTube channels getting the live feed. So there's so many different outlets now for consuming this type of thing that I think that when it's not factored into the traditional ratings, that it could appear that less people are involved. As far as this goes, I think the old means of analyzing culture through a traditional ratings system like Nielsen are pretty clear at this point, are pretty antiquated and need some adjustments and need to kind of include the whole spectrum of viewership and consumption of media in order for it to be an accurate representation of what is actually going on or the engagement level. And to me, that is what is driving new media and old media to change their model. Is they're more focused on engagement at this point. Because what's the point of having this debate if people only tuned in for the first 10 minutes and got frustrated because of whatever reason? Whereas if people are on a loyal network of their own, loyal network that they like, they're more likely to kind of stay through the whole day. And I think that's what makes more sense to advertisers, is kind of how long are people staying on the show. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know for sure, but that might dictate where certain advertising is placed in a show based on kind of their minute by minute viewership, and that can dictate the pricing. I'm not sure exactly how that works as far as advertising goes, but to me that would make more sense as far as advertising both on mainstream cable, network television, and product placement and ads in videos, online, and live streams. So I think that was kind of my thoughts on the ratings part of everything. But what was, I think, the most interesting part that came out of the debates was what happened the next day and the day after, which was all these theories that came out about Joe Biden, really, and Donald Trump. And I'll give a list of a few, and then I'll just share the ones that I think are actually the most plausible out of all of the theories that came out of this. One of them was that wires. So there was one that was about wires on Biden's suit inside of his coat flap or whatever, which, more that you look at it, it appears that it might be just a wrinkle in his shirt, but we don't know for sure. It was a wrinkle that appeared as he was adjusting whatever he was adjusting inside of his pocket, which we don't know what he was adjusting. So I don't know about that. So people were talking about the pen he was holding the whole time. It seemed like he had a death grip on it, even though people didn't think he was actually writing anything. So people think this was some kind of Bluetooth communication device that was kind of communicating to something in his ear or something on him that was kind of covered up, probably by like a flesh color, like wax or something, that it's hard to like tell that you're actually wearing something in your ear. So that was one thing. Something up his sleeve, they saw like something sticking out. Someone thought it was an IV. Someone tried to kind of cover for Biden by saying that it was possibly a rosary for his late son. We don't know what the deal was with the sleeve thing. Someone mentioned that he was someone in my comments, actually in my last video, who I didn't ask if they want their name out there, but if you're watching again, make sure to comment and I'll give you a little shout out saying thank you down there. But about potential weight gain since his last appearances, I didn't really notice that too much, but I wasn't really thinking about that, but I might go back and kind of compare a few things to see if I see that. Already talked about the potential earpiece. And then the one thing about Trump was that the camera that was on him, that was solely focused on him, so they could do like the split screen or whatever, appeared to have an orange filter on it to some people, so that they could kind of push the orange man thing or make him look more orange in any picture that came out of the debate. And actually, I think that out of all the theories as far as the debate goes, I think the orange filter on the camera seems to be actually the most plausible out of all of them. And at this point, because it seems like the most, knowing technology nowadays and how easy it is for us on like Zooms and video conferencing to put filters on things, I don't see why they wouldn't do that if that's like an easy thing to put on a camera without it being blatantly obvious. Because if you notice, the back of the room is dark. The lens that on the big cameras, you wouldn't be able to tell if there was really a filter. I don't think so. I think that's, to me, is the most plausible. Those other things, they could be true. I think the wire thing might not be true. It might look like an actual wrinkle, but the thing as far as in his sleeve, I've been trying to go back into the debate and finding the part where it shows that, but I haven't found it yet. And then he did touch his ear a few times, but that's pretty hard to prove if his ear is covered pretty well. So I think a lot of people have made a good point too, saying that if Joe Biden needed assistance as far as an earpiece or some communication to him, it would be only really while he wasn't talking and he was kind of being fed something to write down, some pre-planned lines for him to use for the question if he wasn't going first or whatnot, or something like that. But there's no way he could actually be listening and talking at the same time, feeding out whatever they're trying to get him to say. Because if someone's already mentally kind of not there, that to me wouldn't work. So could have had help, but it's probably not as like diabolical as we're thinking. And someone did bring up the point supporting the fact that he might have something in his ear and writing stuff down as Trump was talking, is that could be a way to do it, because maybe he's not able to comprehend things as easily. Maybe he does have short-term memory, so he can remember things really quick and write it down and have it there ready to review while he's waiting for his turn to speak. I don't know. We'll see kind of what happens. But someone else said that they thought that he wasn't really paying attention to Trump very well, Biden, in comparison to like the Democratic debates, where it appeared Joe would have to like turn to the person talking and really pay attention in order to hear what they were saying. He didn't really do that this time. He mostly just was in his own little world, responding if he needed to, or looking straight at the camera to everyone at home. So I don't know. Those are some of the theories. As far as theories related to Joe Biden's whole campaign, to me, I think it's the most plausible that they are actually parading Biden out in hopes that he wins as a quote-unquote moderate, and then everyone around him in his administration will control him and basically plunge us into the socialism, communism that they want us to be in, which is why they ran all these socialist candidates and have Kamala Harris as his running mate, who is full disclosure, she's my senator, one of my senators, even though I didn't vote for her, but that is what it is. And so that was interesting kind of thing. And as I saw another theory about Biden's whole campaign as a result of this was they're thinking that he has some debt to pay to somebody. I don't know if it's something related to the mob or related to a lot of elites in the world who he has kind of been a puppet for. They're saying this could be a kind of a blackmail situation where they put him out there to fulfill his duty, meaning or finish the job, even if maybe he and his wife didn't want him to for his medical condition. They may be forcing him to kind of repay his debts or to repay them somehow or give them the gifts that he's kind of been promising maybe for a long time and didn't really deliver on. So that was another theory I saw floating around. It could be something, it could be not. We don't know. But there has to be some explanation for why they are parading him out when he's clearly not in the right mental condition for this. It's either someone's got something on him, or he's just a puppet and a cover for what they really want to do, and they're going to take advantage of him once he's in office. Those to me seem like the two most plausible situations. So a really big story that really dominated the headlines for a few days and was really like kind of the awakening that came of this was the whole Proud Boys story that happened during the debate. And what this story is dumb about the story is, one, it's pretty clear at this point that President Trump wasn't really too knowledgeable of who the Proud Boys are. I think the most people don't really know who they are unless they're in the riot coverage and have been in the kind of culture war space for years. Considering the Proud Boys are actually one of the smaller groups from what I know, and they're not the most troublemaker type group. They don't seem to be the instigators. It appears that they draw people to come in and instigate, or a crowd that would come in and instigate their gatherings. So that was one thing that was interesting. And then what was really funny is not only was the founder, Gavin McInnes, surprised that it was even brought up at all, because it actually started as a kind of a boys club where they would like do boy things as far as like tell fart jokes from what he said and drink beer and do like stupid stuff and not even that serious, and it turned into something bigger, I guess. But also what's interesting in Florida is the head of the Latinos for Trump movement in Florida is a national chair member of the Proud Boys. So I don't understand how the Proud Boys being called a white supremacist group on stage at a presidential debate is doing anything to help Biden, especially when that group is clearly not that. And all it did was draw more attention to the Proud Boys group, and it appears from what I saw that their membership has actually gone through the roof. And it appears it's the same phenomenon that happened in 2016 with Hillary Clinton kind of denouncing the far right, and all of a sudden, like, that's what kind of came to be. Could be their strategy, actually, meaning putting attention on these certain groups. They want them to kind of grow so they can actually have some data and some evidence that these groups are real and they're dangerous and big, because, like, nobody has, or like, there's no such thing as like a white supremacist group. Like, there's no official flag or official like organization with a slogan and with gear and with organization tactics and with all these things like an Antifa or a Black Lives Matter or a Proud Boys. So that was kind of the whole thing with that situation. And then we come to what happened today, Friday, as of Friday afternoon here in California on the West Coast. President Trump and First Lady Melania have been tested positive for coronavirus as of this morning, and President Trump was sent to Walter Reed Memorial Hospital, which is where it's a veterans hospital, military hospital, and it appears that he is there just as a abundance of caution to make sure he has all the resources available in case his positive infection turns into something more severe as far as symptoms goes. I did not know this until today, but apparently there's a whole whole section of the hospital that is dedicated for the president, that has offices and has like everything he needs to actually do his job. So it appears that he is not even considering at this point, appointing Pence as his replacement until he gets better. So hopefully everything goes well. I mean, I'm not even going to get into a lot of the reactions from people who don't like Trump about his condition, because I don't even want to put those things out there really or give them any attention. But let's just hope that everything kind of he does well, and I think he will, because he's clearly not in any bad health besides the fact that he may be a little overweight and any heart condition that I think was brought up a few months ago or a while back. And so I think he's going to pass through it, hopefully. And he'll come out even stronger. It'll give him a little rest until it's time to really kick things into gear, and he'll get the sympathy, empathy, whatever you want to call it. And let's say whatever he's using to get treated for this works, and he'll have firsthand anecdotal experience to tell to the American people, his supporters, his haters, that even him, who they've been trying to pin health problems on for probably since day one, and that he's too old, or he might be too old to be in office, that he got through what they want to claim as one of the deadliest viruses in history, and we have to lock everything down for it. If he's able to prove that what he took worked, so even if he gets a vaccine, maybe he gets the hydroxychloroquine or whatever other treatments are kind of available at the moment, even if they're not approved, maybe he's going to be the one that says, hey, I'm brave enough to try something new and have the right to try. Let me put my money where my mouth is and be kind of lead by example in this case. So we will see what happens. And as far as debates goes with President Trump in this condition, I mean, the timing really, I mean, I don't want to say it couldn't be any better, but as far as the timeline goes, he was tested positive today, Friday, the 2nd. And if it's 10 to 14 days from infection to kind of when you can kind of go out, I think depending on if your tests come back positive, I think 3 tests in a row negative is kind of your go, that you're good. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the next debate for the presidents is about 11 days from now. Next Wednesday, or is it 11? No, it's 13. No, it's 14 days from now. That's right. It's about 13, 14, because it's on a Thursday. By then, he could be fine. He could be way better and ready to debate. Worst case, maybe they have a Zoom debate. I don't know. I hope they don't have to do that, but we'll see. Or they just space them out even more. I don't know. And then next week is the vice presidential debate, and Mike Pence and Kamala Harris both said they tested negative. So hopefully they stay that way until at least after their vice presidential debate. So that way, if they need to take a rest, they don't have to cancel anything. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think he'll try to debate no matter what, because he's pretty strong. And if anything, this will just show that he is healthy, and all the talks of him not being healthy will hopefully fall to the wayside, and he'll just be stronger and have more support because people see how strong he is, and it'll just give him another feather in his cap as far as things he's overcome in his presidency to serve the American people. So I think I'm going to wrap up here. Let me know if I missed anything, or if something you saw that I didn't see, or if you saw what I saw, maybe you found some information debunking it or even proving it. Let me know in the comment section down below, because of late, the YouTube algorithm loves comments more than anything, but also they love thumbs up. So if you liked this video and kind of my recap of the debate and the aftermath of what's going on, make sure to give this video a thumbs up by heading down below, because that really means a lot to me, and it kind of shows me if people are watching and liking what I'm seeing, and just lets me know that you were here, because I don't really get a name of who views it. So if you give me a like, I kind of know that there's a group out there that's really digging what's going on. If you really like it, if you haven't subscribed already, or if this is the first time seeing any of my videos, head down there and hit the subscribe button, but most importantly, hit the notification bell, because that seems to work better than the subscribe button, because YouTube likes to kind of mess with the subscriptions a little bit here and there. So make sure to do that, and I can't wait to chat with you all in the comments. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.